Going on, Husker fans? This is Ethan Bice, 4 hours to Lincoln. This is a special live show just for the heck of it, just to test things out and see if anybody even gets on here. Um, so I'll get started right away. Big news: we're in talk. The Husker football team's in talks with Dana Holgerson to be the offensive coordinator for the Huskers. So that's uh, pretty good. That would be really good to get him. We also got a running back out of Oregon in the transfer portal. Really nice to see this offseason moving so greatly. Um, Other than that, let's get down to what went on during the weekend. I'm going to start with the good, and that's women's gymnastics. They beat Iowa State in their duel. Um, Let me talk about that real quick. Pull it up here. Uh, Hold on. All right. So we dominate Iowa State in the season opener, and it's not letting me pull it up. Oh, there it is. All right. So we defeat Iowa State by a score of 196.125 to 195.825. Emma Spence and Kenzie Davis tied for the bars title, and Spence earned a share of the floor title with Iowa State's Noel Adams. The last time the team started the season with a score above 196 was in the 2014 season. Uh, and of course, we dominated all, or we did not dominate all four rotations. We, I think, won two of those, but nonetheless, we got the team title in that. And next time out, we will go to West Valley, Utah on Friday to take on the first annual Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad, which will be on ESPN. We'll take on number 22 Arizona, North Carolina, and Boise State. The meet is set to start at 8 p.m. At the Maverick Center. So good job for the ladies there. Let's move on to wrestling now, where we got two nice dual victories. Wyoming absolutely dominated them. That wasn't near as close as I thought it would be. But then Northern Iowa gave us a tough run there. But how about Polar Bear, Nash Hutmacher, going in and getting a pin at heavyweight? Uh, that was that was really awesome. Um, yeah, we defeated Wyoming 44-3 total, so we only lost one match in there. That was our very first one. Um, Caleb Smith fell to Jordan Volk in a 5-1 decision. Smith had an escape in the second period, but Volk tallied 5 points in the final period with an escape, takedown, and penalty called on Smith in that bout. And then at 133, Jacob Van D tied up the team score with a 7-5 decision over Cooper Birdwell. Van D struck first with a takedown, but Birdwell secured 5 straight points with a pair of escapes and the takedown. Van D earned a reversal to tie the bout at 5 and went on to get an escape and the riding time point to end the match. Then you have number 6, Brock Hardy. He dominated from start to finish in a 15-3 major decision over Cole Brooks. At 141, Hardy opened with a takedown and a combined 7 near fall points, ending the first period with a 10-1 advantage, stretching the lead. Hardy managed a reversal in the second and third period, along with the riding time point. And then you had Ridge Lovett, aggressive right from the get-go, uh, grabbing his third pin of the season over number 23, Gabe Willichel, in 1 minute and 25 seconds. So Ridge looked really good there. He looked fantastic. At 157, Peyton Robb jumped out a 7-0 first period lead over Wyoming's Cooper Voorhees with a takedown and 4 near fall points. He carried the momentum into the second period, tallying an escape and a takedown. With a takedown and a riding time point, Rob clinched the 18-1 technical fall in 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Um, Number 24, Antrell Taylor took offensive control in the 165-pound bout, earning 4 takedowns in the first 3 minutes to hold the 12-3 lead over Brett McIntosh in the second period. Taylor got 3 swipes and another takedown. He continued chipping away, moving the score to 22-5 to take the second straight technical fall in 5 minutes and 38 seconds. Uh, Bubba Wilson grabbed his third career pin, getting Kevin Anderson's shoulders on the mat in just 50 seconds. With the pin, Wilson brought the team score to 29-3. At 184, Elise Brown-Tunn secured a 10-3 decision over Tice Radden. Through the first 2 periods, Brown-Tunn held a 3-2 advantage with a takedown and a pair of Radden escapes. Stretching his lead, Brown-Tunn grabbed an escape and 2 takedowns in the final period. Then we closed with 2 back-to-back first period pins at 197. Silas Allred got number 21 Joey Novak on his back in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And then we went on to win a close match. Or no, I'm sorry. I skipped heavyweight there. And how did I? We had Nash. So he took the mat for the first time in a Nebraska singlet, pinning Mason Ding in 2 minutes and 7 seconds. And the crowd just went nuts during all that. That was incredible to see. And really awesome to see the football team there to support him and everything. I think it's really cool that Dylan Raiola is actually attending wrestling matches. A kid that never really watched wrestling a day in his life or anything, and he goes there and attends, and he seems to really enjoy it too. So it's really cool to see like this Georgia kid that, wrestling ain't a big sport in Georgia, and he just goes there to support it, and he really looks like he enjoys it. So I'm happy about that. So then we had our second duel. We wrapped up our first one there against Wyoming, dominated them, but the second duel just did not look near as great as the first one did, and we'll go through that one real quick. So in the first bout against the Panthers, Caleb Smith and Trevor Anderson each had an escape through 3 periods and sudden victory. Smith quickly used a double leg, get the takedown, and earned the 4-1 decision. At 133, Jacob Bandy dropped the bout to number 22, Julian Farber, in an 8-1 decision. In the first 3 minutes, Farber notched a takedown. Bandy escaped for a point. The two went scoreless in the second period, but Farber managed to takedown escape at the riding time point to get the win. In the second top 10 matchup of the day, you had Brock Hardy, who fell to Cale Happel in sudden victory entering the final period. Hardy held a 4-3 advantage after a takedown and escape. Hardy grabbed another takedown in the third to build a margin, but a big reversal and takedown by Happel tied it at 8 as time expired. In sudden victory, Happel struck first with a takedown to take the 11-8 victory. Then you had Ridge Lovett, who, of course, is number 1, tied up the team score at 6-6 with a 7-1 decision over Cale Radden Hardy in the opening 3 minutes. Lovett went up 3-0 with a takedown. He led 6-0 after the second with a reversal and stalling called against Mr. Rodnavarty. To close, Ranavardi was awarded an escape, and Lovett took the riding time point. Um, then you had Peyton Robb. He dropped the top 15 matchup to Ryder Downey, who's ranked number 13 at the moment at 157. That score ended up being 6-5. Downey led 5-3 after 2 periods using a takedown and 2 escapes. Robb tied it up with a big reversal, but allowed an escape to drop the match by 1. At 165, number 24, Antrell Taylor got the Huskers back on track with a 6-3 decision over RJ Weston. The two remained scoreless through 2 periods. In the final 2 minutes, Taylor notched a pair of takedowns and Weston escaped twice. The win put us ahead in the team score 9-8. Number 33, Bubba Wilson, continued his successful day with a 3-1 decision over Jared Sima, who's ranked number 30th at the moment. Using an escape and 2 stall points called against Sima, Wilson earned 3 team points, bringing the total team score total to 8. Then Elise Brown-Tunn took on number 1 Parker Keckeisen. Wasn't even close. Parker Keckeisen is, other than Ridge Lovett, probably the most outstanding wrestler of this whole duel. But yeah, it wasn't close. He fell 17-2 in a technical fall within 5 minutes and 37 seconds. That's when Northern Iowa regained the team lead. Then 197, Silas Allred. Impressive win, impressive pin. But throwing the headgear at the end of the match in celebration, just can't do that. The refs will, dock a team point every time you do that. And so that's what happened. We had 16 points after Silas Allred got the pin, but in celebration, through his headgear, deducted a team point, and so that put us at I'm gonna say 18-12 in that one. So it was supposed to be 19-12, but again through the headgear, so we only got 5 points out of that win, that pin. So that was incredibly frustrating to see. And watching Peyton Robb, I'm going to go back to Peyton Robb and his match, but seeing him go back and cut that guy loose when he was wrestling him, that wasn't very smart, I don't think. I think he could have won that match had he stayed on him and tried to get some back points, but not as frustrating as Silas Allred tossing his headgear like that. I get he was excited. I was happy for it, but yeah, when a duel's that close, you gotta be smart. So then, after that, Harley Andrews wrestled at heavyweight, and this is where things got interesting because I thought so it got to the point where if Northern Iowa got the major decision, they could potentially win on criteria. That wasn't the case. Luckily, Harley Andrews was trying to keep it to just a decision win, but ended up dropping that match 9-1. So Tyrell Gordon, got the major decision win, but the criteria, and I still don't understand how criteria works in duels, but we luckily ended up getting that criteria, so we ended up winning the duel 18-17. So it was very close. It was a dramatic night, and luckily Northern Iowa's coach threw a temper tantrum during one of the matches. I can't remember who it was, but threw a tantrum, got, I think, 2 points deducted from the team, or maybe just one. I can't remember, but that was very lucky on it. And like I said, Northern Iowa is a really good wrestling team and deserves some respect because yeah, they came out there, ready to wrestle to hostile environment like ours, and they about got the job done. So luckily we got that win, and we're still undefeated in duels as of right now. I so we returned to the mat on Friday to host Iowa, ranked number 3 in the country. Iowa's got terrific wrestlers, even though they are going through some legal issues right now. They still have a very talented team, and yeah, that's going to be a big one. That's going to be a really tough one for us. I mean, our top guys, Ridge Lovett, Peyton Rock, they all got to be on their A game. And, I'm a realist, guys. I don't expect to win this duel. I really don't. Um, I was just loaded with talent. Um, but I will go back and talk about this duel on another day when I do my previews. But yeah, we definitely got to wrestle better than we did against Northern Iowa if we want to beat Iowa. And I think Northern Iowa themselves can be a top 5 team for sure. Um, but yeah, so that will do it for the wrestling portion of this thing. Got the win, still undefeated in duels, and uh, life's good so far for this wrestling team. Um, Now that leaves me to the 2 basketball games over the weekend as the men fall to Wisconsin in devastating fashion. Women today got blown out in devastating fashion. It just was not a good weekend for our court sports at all. And I'm here to talk about it real quick. Um, KC Tamanaga had a team high 17 points to lead 3 Huskers in double figures, but Wisconsin hit a season high of 13 3-pointers in an 88-72 victory Saturday afternoon at Wisconsin. And I'll be real brief. Wisconsin's just a very tough place to play. I mean, not very many teams go in there and win. We of course needed the test. We needed to play a ranked team. With the schedule we had, the non-con, it was just really, just not really impressive. And I think we're in like the 40 rank, somewhere around there in the NET rankings right now. So yeah, we need stiffer competition now. Our confidence should be up after blowing away some teams in that non-con, but now we really need to be geared up for Big Ten competition. But losing to Wisconsin at Wisconsin is not a bad loss. I'm not um, gonna hang my head over that one. I think it was it was a long shot to go in there and beat them, in my honest, humble opinion. I know a lot of you are thinking this team's doomed now that we didn't get that win, but there's still plenty of basketball to be played, and so let's just see what happens. I know it don't get easier. We got Purdue coming up at home. That's going to be a very tough one. Um, but we'll see. There's still a lot of basketball to be played. There's still quality teams to play to improve our NET rankings. So, that's a good thing about playing in the Big Ten. You go through a season, and that can, that's your tournament resume right there is non-con action. So, I think it was great to schedule some easier non-conference games just for that fact, just because they will look at records, and you have an 11 and or what was it, 10-2 non-con record. Yeah, I know they weren't all quality teams, except for maybe K State. I think K State was a great team, and we did beat Michigan State, who is struggling right now. Uh, but I think they'll get it together, and hopefully they do. I really hope Michigan State pulls it together to make us look better. But yeah, it was a crappy loss, but then again, it was at Wisconsin, so you almost had to expect it, and it is what it is. Tominaga hit 7 of 10 shots from the field, including a trio 3-pointers, while Rink Mast added doesn't even say. I can't remember how much he scored, but he had 6 rebounds as we saw our 5-game win streak snapped. Tyler Wall led 5 Badgers in double figures with 17 points and 8 rebounds, as Wisconsin remained the only unbeaten team in Big Ten play. So, believe it or not, we did beat or lose to a team that hasn't lost a Big Ten game yet. So, that's something to be said. We shot nearly 50% from the field, including 12 26 from 3-point range. So, our shooting wasn't terrible, but Wisconsin just was shooting threes left and right. I mean, there's just no stopping it. And they just absolutely destroyed the rim with their 3-point shooting. But the Badgers, who have won 10 of their last 11, shot 55% from the field, including nearly 60% from the floor in the opening 20 minutes. So, I mean, that first half did kill us. We did have a good second half, though. Just that first half, they just had a lot more on us. So, I don't know what else you can say about that. In that first half, we shot 53% from the field, including 6 of 12 from 3-point range. But Wisconsin shot nearly 60% from the field in the opening 20 minutes and taking a 51-38 halftime lead. Nebraska, which struggled with foul trouble for a good portion of the half, was within 14-12 after a Juwan Gary basket, but the Badgers went on an 8-0 run to build a 22-12 lead after an AJ Storr basket with 10:58 left in the half to force a Husker timeout. Wisconsin hit 12 of its first 17 shots to build a 33-17 lead after a Chucky Hepburn 3-pointer with 8:17 remaining in the half. We chipped away and was within 33-22 after a Bryce Williams 3-point play and a drive from Tominaga. But the Badgers responded with a 5-0 run of their own to push the lead back to 16. Wisconsin, which averaged 6.1 3-pointers per game, had 7 in the first half, including 3 from Connor Esigian, who came in averaging 2.5 points per game. We seem to have that kind of effect on people. They come in with not the best numbers, and they just absolutely have the game of their life. It don't matter what sport. It just seems like we have that effect on people. Wisconsin's bench accounted for 23 first half points. Incredible. Tominaga had 12 first half points on 5 of 6 shooting, while Mass had 9 markers in the first half. We trailed 28 28 with 2:50 left in the half before we closed the half on a 10-3 spurt to get within 51-38 after an Eli Rice 3-pointer in the final seconds of the half. So we had a good push and we had a good run. Then we continued the battle and pulled within 54-45 after a mass three-pointer with just under 18 minutes left in the contest. Wisconsin stretched the lead to 19 before the Huskers ran off 7 straight points to pull within 66-54 after Jawan Gary's layup with 11:30 remaining. Nebraska was within 72-59 after a mass jumper with just over 10 minutes left, but the Badgers used a 6-0 spurt to push the lead back to 18 and force a Husker timeout with 7:49 left. And yeah, we lost. And like I said, I don't think it's a bad loss. I read comments on social media pages all the time, and I think there's a lot of people that are saying this team's doomed. This team's I get it. I get where you're coming from, but like I said, it's not a bad loss. It's Wisconsin at Wisconsin, and they don't lose very much at home. I don't even remember the last time they lost at home, and we actually had a decent run against them there. So I'm not hanging my head, and I'm not giving up on this team. I think this team is still a tournament team. They're still going to win a tournament game. I'm almost going to guarantee it. And if they don't, then yeah, my guarantee's a lie. But I really think they're gonna. I still think they're gonna pull it off. I really do. There's just that hunch. I'm optimistic about this team. I really am. Um, but yeah. So we return home on Tuesday as we welcome Purdue, number one team in the country, looking really good. And look, guys, I'll be blunt. I'll be blunt with you. That this is gonna be another loss, and I mean, hopefully not. I'm just a realist, but uh, look what we did against Purdue last year when we should have won that game. I think this Purdue team this year is a lot more talented than they were last year. But granted, we did play them tough last year and just about had them beat. In fact, we should have had them beat when they called foul on us when we didn't even touch the player. I forgot who that Purdue player is, but I think they called it on Sam Hoiberg, and he wasn't even near the guy. So that really stung and it hurt. But we still have like one of the best records since like February of last year. I want to say it's like 15-3 right now since February. So that's something to be said. We're still a good team, and we're still jiving and still trying to figure things out. We're not at our full potential yet, but when we are, hopefully it comes at the right time, especially Big Ten tournament time. I think this team is gonna open eyes by the time March is here. I really, really do. We're just not there yet, but by the end of this season, we're gonna be there, and we're gonna shock a lot of people. I really feel like it. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about this team. Are you happy with them? Are we cursed? Is it doom and gloom, or are you as optimistic as I am? But anyway, so that's how that game went. Let's talk about the ladies' game today. As much as it pains me to talk about, we absolutely just got destroyed by a talented women's Indiana team. Like I said, just a rough weekend for basketball altogether, and it could be a rough week this week as it starts with Purdue. But man, we got absolutely crushed by Indiana. But they had that talented player. I can't remember her name. I'll mention it as I read on here, but my gosh, they could shoot and they would not miss. And it seemed like whenever we showed some promise to get back in this thing, Indiana just revved their engine up even more higher than we did in this game. So Alexis Markowski scored a team high of 21 points, but it was not enough to prevent Indiana from running a 91-69 win over Nebraska in front of our season high 9,059 fans at Pinnacle Bank Arena. It's embarrassing to lose by that much at home. Like, I'm not very happy about it, and there's no excuse for it. But at the same time, Indiana's a good team. They're really good. And they're talking, national things with this Indiana team. So, I mean, very good team. What else can you do? Especially when they don't miss. And we were having good runs, and Indiana just would not have it with us. But I'll talk about that here in a minute. Markowski hit 9 of 14 shots from the field, including all three of her 3-point attempts to notch her fifth 20-point performance of the season. The 6'2 forward scored 11 in the first quarter, but Indiana still led 2015 at the end of the first. And it didn't help. She had 4 fouls. Going to halftime, I believe. I think we were going to halftime. She was already at like 3 or 4 fouls, so we had to sit her, and that was painful for us because it shows we can't lose Markowski at any time during a game. Although I think Natalie Potts does show promise, and she's going to be really good for us. We still need players like Markowski. And Jazz Shelley was quiet today. She didn't do nothing at all. Couldn't do nothing. Just an overall dominant effort by Indiana. The Hoosiers, who improved to 13-1 overall and 4-0 in the Big Ten, with their 12th consecutive victory, then pushed the lead to 42-29 at halftime, thanks to 17 points on first half 3-pointers from Sydney Parrish. Indiana pushed the margin to 17 points early in the third quarter after a pair of buckets from All-American Mackenzie Holmes, who finished with 22 points for the Hoosiers, excuse me. But Nebraska pushed back by cutting Indiana's lead 55-48 on back-to-back threes from Logan Nisley and Annika Stewart with 3:40 left in the period. Indiana responded in a decisive way, closing the quarter with a 14-1 surge to take a 69-49 lead to the final period. Nisley finished with 13 points for her sixth game and double figures off the bench this season, joining Markowski as the only Huskers in double digits. Natalie Potts added 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, while Stewart and Jess Shelley both contributed 6 points for Nebraska. As a team, we hit 44.3% of our shots from the field, including 9 of 22 threes, while going 6 for 8 at the free throw line. Indiana shot a sizzling, and I say sizzling, nearly 61%, including 61% from long range. Hoosiers also sank 9 of 14 free throws while winning the battle of the boards 30-29. Indiana also won the turnover war. Parrish, who finished with 20 points, joined Holmes with a 20-point performance, while Sarah Scalia added 19 points on 5 of 10 3-point shooting. Chloe Moore McNeil pitched in 16 points for the Hoosiers. Nebraska raised the 4th retired jersey banner in school history in pregame ceremonies when 2014 first team All-American and Big Ten Player of the Year had her number 35 banner unveiled at the north end of the arena. Her 2013 NCAA Sweet 16 and 2014 Big Ten champion teammates were on hand, along with more than 40 former Huskers, including fellow retired Jersey honorees Karen Jennings and Mortice Ivy on Alumni Day in Lincoln. Nebraska returns to Big Ten home action on Thursday night when we play host to Illinois. Tip-off with the Fighting Illini is set for 7 p.m. with tickets available now at Huskers.com, yada, yada, yada. So, man, it wasn't a bad week overall. We did beat Indiana in men's basketball, which was a good tournament-esque type of win. We needed that win. That loss against Wisconsin, it wasn't bad. Uh, it would. I mean, obviously, it would have been better to take that win home with us, but uh, what can you do? So, with that, guys, I am going to talk about next week's activities as we actually got a full week ahead. I mean, we got a lot of stuff on tap next week. It's going to be very busy. Let me pull up the schedule real quick. I know bowling, the bowling team actually returns to action tomorrow at the Storm in Blue and White to kick off their second half of the season. And they didn't have the most terrific first half. I don't even think they got a tournament win. So it's not looking like our typical bowling team. But on that note, we do return and, chasing the ninth national championship for this year. And maybe we can still get there. I don't know. But let's talk about that real quick. So following a pair of third-place finishes across the fall campaign, the number 7 Nebraska bowling team will kick off its 2024 spring schedule at the Storm in Blue and White Vegas Classic in Las Vegas from tomorrow all the way to the 10th. 19 teams will be joining the Huskers, including 3 of the top 5 NTCA ranked teams in the country, which include number 1 Jacksonville State, number 2 Vanderbilt, and number 4 Louisiana Tech, number 8 Duquesne, number 9 Stephen F. Austin, number 10 Maryville, number 12 Tulane, number 13 Merrimack, number 14 UMES, number 15 Mount St. Mary's, number 18 Newman, number 19 Valparaiso, number 20 Oklahoma Christian. Then you have Aldefi, Jackson State, and Prairie View. Southern St. Anselm and Texas Southern will also compete at the event. So some quality matchups there. It's the only tournament of Nebraska season that will begin on a Monday and move into the week concluding on Wednesday. All 20 teams were divided into 4 groups to even the playing field: clubs, hearts, diamonds, and spades, with the Huskers landing in the diamond group. The Big Red will kick off the tournament with 5 Baker total pin-style matches against Jacksonville State, Maryville, Southern, Stephen F. Austin, and St. Anselm. On Tuesday, each team will participate in 5 more traditional team matches starting at 12:55 p.m., where Nebraska will face Aldefi, Duquesne, Merrimack, Mount St. Mary's, and Oklahoma Christian. Baker bracket play consisting of 3 rounds will take place on Wednesday to conclude the star-studded tournament at the South Point Hotel and Casino. The Huskers feature a lineup that includes seasoned veteran and 4 new recruits, highlighted by anchor Jillian Martin, the 2023 First Team All American and Rookie of the Year. All American Caleb Verstraete, Second Team All Rookie honoree Anna Callan, and Alexis Boucher. Sorry. Um, and you can actually watch these bowling tournaments on Facebook. They usually have them on Facebook Live. So if you work in an office, you may be able to catch the action. So I typically don't because I work during the day and can't have my phone. So I can't navigate Facebook while working. So uh, that always sucks. But then again, I'm not a huge bowling fan. I just typically read about it. Um, but there you go. We got the Storm in blue and white. So next up for this week. So we got that Tuesday. I told you about. Oh, that's the bowling schedule. But Tuesday, I told you guys about taking on Purdue at home. We actually get them at home, so that's a plus for us. But will we pull a ladies basketball today and just absolutely get destroyed? I don't know. I hope not. Obviously, hopefully it's a lot like last year, but with the outcome that we so desired, which is don't leave it in the hands of the refs. Although these type of games typically do, but man, I'm still frustrated over that call from last year when you know I can't remember if it was Casey or Sam that got called for or got or that fouled when they really didn't. I mean, that was just absolutely asinine. Um, but yeah, what can you do about it? Never leave the game in the hands of the refs, I guess. Uh, so then we got that Wednesday swimming and diving. We'll take on the holiday training trip. I don't really know what that entails, but when the athletics site pulls that up, maybe I'll read through it and see what we got going there. Thursday, women's basketball takes on Illinois, so it should be a decent change of pace as far as you know the type of teams we play goes. Hopefully, they bounce back with a win. They'll be at home on Thursday, so hopefully bounce back with a win and forget all about that Indiana game. Uh, so it always sucks to take a loss like that at home. I get it. Then from Friday to Saturday, the track and field team, the indoor track and field team, will take on the Graduate Classic. Not really sure what that all entails. We'll know later on during the week what we got going there. Then, of course, Friday, we got Iowa in a wrestling duel at home, thankfully. So, yeah, bring all your fandom there because that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a big one right there. Uh, and then, let's see, Friday, we got women's gymnastics. As I mentioned, it's that one thing I told you about with the 5 teams in it. So we'll have Boise State, North Carolina, Arizona in that meet or whatever you want to call it. And it'll be on ESPN. So really cool to have that and showcase our team on a network like ESPN. Although I don't like ESPN, but they do provide sports and a lot of people watch it. So it's really good to get our gymnastics team on there. Then you got basketball at Iowa on Friday as well. Once again, which is good because well, I take that back. Iowa's actually not looking terrible like they have in the past right now. So we'll see how that goes. I feel like that should be a win. I don't really have this bad feeling about that game. We should be able to get the job done against them. After a rough couple of games against Wisconsin and Purdue, we can bounce back and get a maybe even our record in Big Ten play during that game. Uh, let's see, and then men's tennis actually returns to action on Saturday as well. They'll take on North Dakota and Creighton. Sunday, Rifles back in action after a very, very rough fall season. They're not looking too hot right now, and our national champion Cecilia Aussie ain't really looking all that great either. So hopefully they, ate their Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, whatever, and are in a better mood now and are ready to return back in action after a really rough fall. Uh, and then Sunday, to close out the week, women's basketball will take on Minnesota. So we got a lot going on this week. I will be here to provide everything, all the info on everything as I talk everything Husker athletics. Um, but yeah, it we got a lot going on. And then after Sunday, there is a 1 day break, and then back to it on Tuesday uh, from there. So, anyways, guys, I didn't really get anybody in on here or anything, which is fine. That just means it'll be a regular show that'll just get uploaded quicker. But I do want to thank you guys for your support. I had over 40 views or something like that. I think about 40 views yesterday on my show, which is like a record for 1 day for me. So that's really awesome. So I do want to thank you all for your support in doing this. I know I'm not the best talker or whatnot, but I do like my Husker athletics, and I'd like to recognize all the student athletes in this institution. Always enjoyed sports. So that's going to do it here, guys. Thank you for watching. You can always tune back and watch this live stream, especially if you smash that subscribe button. Until next time, guys, be excellent to each other. Go Big Red.